It'll be a private burial on an island in a lake on the grounds of the Spencer family home. The family made a decision not to inter her with her ancestors in the family vault in the village church of St. Mary the Virgin at nearby Great Brington. Instead, the decision was to bury her on a small island in the middle of a lake on the family property. The island is said to have been a favorite of Diana's when she was a child. One reason for the decision, the family said, is they wanted to bury Diana in the grounds of Althorp Park. Westminster's dean during the service, the very Reverend Dr. Wesley Carr, said, quote, Diana profoundly influenced this nation and the world. Although a princess, she was someone for whom, from afar, we dared to feel affection. There was music by Bach, Verdi, Purcell, and by Diana's friend Elton John. Elton John sang, Goodbye, England's Rose. Your candles burned out long before your legend ever will. What you are seeing now, and those of you who've been with us, what you have been seeing for the last few hours, will help to make the legend of Diana, Princess of the People, Queen of Hearts. And whether intended to do so or not, also helping the legend will be the burial place on that island in the lake on the Spencer's ancient family property. Those plans for Diana's burial in the lake inevitably recall the legend of King Arthur. King Arthur was conducted by the Lady of the Lake to the mythical island of Avalon and buried there. Many Britons still believe that King Arthur will someday return to rule again, the once and future king. One of the better known phrases in the English language, the once and future king. What has happened here today is perhaps the making of a once and future princess. Harking back to the 1980s, you may recall there was public demand for Diana to name her first son Arthur, as in King Arthur, so that a King Arthur would be sure to rule Britain again. But she instead named her first son William. As the hearse makes its mournful way north, Diana's coffin still wrapped in the royal standard. We bring back in David Starkey, constitutional monarchy historian associated with the London School of Economics, and Ingrid Seward, who is editor of Monarchy magazine. First, David Starkey, your comment.
Survive in a democratic...
Estimated to weigh some 560 pounds, which is not too great an amount for 8 big guys to lift, but it's not easy to wield gracefully and easily, and you could see as they bore it on their arms and shoulders and reaching across with arms around each other's shoulders, that was no small feat they were undertaking there, and I imagine that...
Let's bring this back into perspective. Are we speaking in hyperbole now?
Well, I don't think we would be human if we weren't right now.
Yes.
But I can say that Charles Althorp, in his very powerful, quite blunt address in some ways, not what you normally get at these...
Like an English country church, and then suddenly the atmosphere changed twice. Once with Elton John, and then with Earl Spencer's address.
You said...
Back to you, Andrew Morton, and then perhaps others, in fact, indeed others, on his remarks by Earl Spencer.
I think Earl Spencer's remarks were quite remarkable insofar as they summed up the mood of the nation. They summed up the fact that there's a hostility towards the media, who many people believed conspired to kill her. At the same time, there's a mood of hostility towards the royal family, for this sense of ousting her from their midst and driving her away. And the very fact that he's making clear that the old ways, the royal ways, will not be for William and Harry, is a signal very much for the future, very much that the royal family have got it wrong, very much that the press, the media, the TV have to get their houses in order for Prince William and Prince Harry to survive.
I don't understand.
Princess Diana once memorably said that she wanted to be the queen in people's hearts. Perhaps what we're seeing today on the streets of London is the coronation of that queen.
Printed it.
Wanted to help, and hopefully I've helped, and I hope many other people buy them too.
Were you among those who were irritated or annoyed at the Queen for not doing something sooner to... Credit.
Everybody...
It would seem from the words we heard spoken in the Abbey, particularly the words spoken by her brother Charles Spencer and applauded by the great crowds outside, that...
with those notes. But one more thing on the subject, what you talked about, Andrew, and what Earl Spencer talked about the press. I talked to an aide to the Prime Minister this morning, and who said that the tabloid editors here are very worried, that they know that they must totally change what they have been doing, and they don't know how to do it, and it will be an enormous change, and it's about time, probably. I understand that there will be no change in laws, and that the Prime Minister will shortly speak about that, but there will be talk about a new responsibility.
Well, the hearse has now picked up a police escort. In fact, the editors of the tabloids had originally been invited to come to this funeral today because many of the editors had in fact had a fairly good relationship with Diana, but at the request of Earl Spencer, who himself has a